The end of Parshas Vayishlach. So we have, the Torah goes at length talking about Esav and the whole genealogy, a little bit of the history of Esav. Perek Lamed Vav. So and also that it talks about Esav's going to Seir. When he left Eretz Yisrael and he went to the land of Seir. So Perek Lamed Vav pasuk Aleph, Ve'ela told us Esav, who Edom. Torah says Esav is Edom. Now we know Esav is Edom because we have in Parshas told us already that they called him Edom. Torah repeats it, Esav who Edom. In pasuk Vav again, in pasuk Ches again, it says Vayeshev Esav b'Har Seir, Esav hu Edom. Torah repeats it again. Why is it repeating it? We know Esav hu Edom. Why? No, it says it again. And pasuk Tes, Ve'ela told us Esav Avi Edom. These are the generations of Esav, the forefather of Edom, b'Har Seir. Okay, the Torah is very much makbid to stress who Edom. For what reason? In pasuk Vav in Zion, so it says over here that Vayikach Esav es Noshav es Banav es Benosav v'kol nafshos Beiso. He takes all his property that he has in Eretz Canaan, and he goes away because of his brother. He leaves Eretz Canaan. And pasuk Zion says, Ki haya rechusham rab, misheves yachtav. They had too much property; they couldn't live together. The land where they're living couldn't bear them. It named again because of their cattle. Now, when did this happen? Mashma, that over here we're saying that when Yaakov was in Eretz Yisrael, so now Esav moves out to Seir. But it's not true. In the beginning of the parasha, it says that Yaakov sent Malachim to Seir. So Yaakov hadn't even gotten back to Eretz Yisrael yet. Esav didn't know that he was wealthy. Esav didn't know anything about him, and he's already in Seir. So the truth is, the Ramban asked the question, the Chizkuni asked the question, and they deal with, when was it that Esav left? What's going on? What's the pshat? It's clear that Esav left way before. He's already in the land of Seir. In a few psukim later over here, so the Torah begins and says, Eila b'nei Seir achori. In the land of Seir, before Esav came there was a nation called the Chori, and it tells us all about their generations. And then it goes back to Edom and talks about the kings of Edom. Question is, in Devarim, in Sefer Devarim, in Parshas Devarim, it says that Esav came to Seir, Vayashmid et HaChori. He destroyed the Chori. Well, if he destroyed the Chori, then why is the Torah telling us the genealogy of the Chori? Esav came in, fought them, and destroyed them. It doesn't say that. So I think that the pshat is like this. The pshat is the Torah is stressing Esav hu Edom. You should know that Esav was very, very, very strong in who he was. Esav knew he is Edom. What does that mean? Where did he get the name? The beginning Parshas told us he got the name because the Taimim min Adom Adom Hazeh, right? Which means all the midos ra'ot, all the gluttony and the wildness and the total hefkerut that Esav showed, and the lack of respect for anything spiritual, right? And the lack of interest in being cultured and civilized in the way you do things. Everything that was brought out in that story, right? So Torah says that is him. That's what he stands for. It's not just that it happened. That's his shita. That's his way of life. That's what he holds to be true to life. Esav Edom. And he repeats it a few times. And he's the father of the nation of Edom. And what does he do? When he hears about Yaakov, not even he hears, he thinks about Yaakov. Yaakov didn't have to have more than one cow. That's too much for Esav. He doesn't want to be with Yaakov. He's going away because to Esav, Yaakov represents the opposite of what he wants to live by. And therefore, no matter what it would be that Yaakov would have, it's too much. Right? And that's the reason that he says, I can't take it. This land can't be there for the two of us. No way. Because Yaakov stands for something different. Yaakov stands for being cultured, for derech eretz, for kedusha, for Torah. Esav says, forget it. That's not for me. I'm getting out. I'm away from here. And that's why, what happens? He goes to the land of the Chari. So in Devarim it says he destroyed them. He did destroy them. Because the Chari no longer exist. They became hitbalalu, what's the English word for that? They became totally assimilated, and they're lost. But the Torah tells us it doesn't happen in one day. It doesn't happen in one day. Edom, with everything that he stands for, he's going to overpower them. But you know what? Beginning, they're together, and there's some influence of them. They do something, but eventually, Esau, totally destroys them. This is a lesson in life. People, nations who know what they're there for, they know what they stand for, they eventually overcome. When we look at the world today, this tells us a lesson about what we have to know about the world. First of all, the world hasn't changed. Anything that Yaakov has is too much, right? that Israel should defend herself. No way. That's too much. That we can't take. No change from what Esav was. Except Esav moved away, right? The world, they condemn. Secondly, when you're having people who know what they stand for, they overcome. Look at the world. Look at Europe. Look at place in the United States. There are people who stand for not good values, and they're walking over and overcoming, taking over the whole world, because they know what they stand for, right? Torah stresses a person who knows what he stands for, even though it's evil, he's going to overcome. They take over everything, right? And therefore, we understand earlier in the Parsha that Yaakov Avinu wasn't ready to accompany Esav at all, because that's the danger. Esav stands for something. It's not good, but he stands for something. And if Klal Yisrael is not 100% strong, chas v'chalila, Yaakov said, no thank you. I'll stay all by myself. It's the only way I can guarantee that I don't get affected by the people who stand for the wrong principles, but are so strong in their principles at the same time.